Burgos. I am the 197th Legislative District State Representative. It's composed of the neighborhoods Hunting Park, Feltonville, Stanton area, Swamp Poodle, and West Kensington. I grew up in early 90s, Philadelphia. I attended Clemente Middle School and Olney High School. And gun violence, unfortunately, in our neighborhoods has always run rampant. Unfortunately, you become numb to the fact that there's always shootings on your block. It becomes almost normal when it shouldn't be. Back then, you couldn't even get a taxi into Hunting Park section. You could call for a taxi and they wouldn't even come into your neighborhood. That's how rough the area was. But at the same time, we have a lot of great people living in our community, Hunting Park and Fairhill in West Kensington. And it's unfortunate that for too long, government gave up on those areas. Growing up, at least we have sports in middle school and high school, and you got to interact with kids from other neighborhoods. Growing up today in our public schools, you're very limited in the sports activities and extracurricular activities that contribute to you getting out of your comfort zone and wanting more for yourself and wanting to be successful. It's been proven that athletics and extracurricular activities are crucial to the development of young minds, especially for communities of color like ours. Unfortunately, the shooters have gotten way too young. The shooters now are in age level that they feel they have nothing to look forward. They don't care whether they get locked up. And that's unfortunate. And that to me tells me that we are failing as a society because our moral values are not there. And we need to work with our clergy. We need to work with our institutions to make sure that these children that are out here committing these crimes understand that we do care about them. Our gun laws are way too lax. There's no reason why a person should be able to buy a gun literally or an unlimited number of guns literally every day. It's years of not understanding Philadelphia. It's years of believing in the national rhetoric and not understanding what we need here in Pennsylvania, what we need here in Philadelphia. When we have a House of Representatives that are controlled by Republicans, the agendas is totally different than our urban areas. And this is just not a problem of Philadelphia, but it's a problem of Pennsylvania because it's affecting York, Pennsylvania, Lancaster, Reading, Allentown, communities where you have large concentrations of people of color have systematically been underfunded for too long. And that's contributing to not only just more crime, but people that are less qualified to work in today's work field. And that's a huge problem that we have all across the state, no matter what community you come from. When I speak to my colleagues that enjoy hunting, what they hear when you say gun control is that we're going to stop hunting. And you have to literally explain to them, no, this is why we need to have stricter gun controls, particularly in Philadelphia or smaller towns around the state where our communities are being affected by gun violence. The approach that I've personally taken is reintroducing North Philadelphia to my Republican colleagues from around the state. And I've taken my time out to visit some different parts of the state, particularly the colleagues that seem more unwilling to compromise or to work on finding a solution on gun control. Because their ideas have good intentions, our ideas have good intentions. We need to understand and respect one another, and most importantly, respect our communities and have laws that reflect the needs of our communities. And our lax gun laws that we have in Pennsylvania do not reflect the needs of urban Pennsylvania. I would limit the number of guns that people can legally purchase, probably to a year. Again, if you're going to go hunting, that's one thing. But in the urban areas, there's no reason why someone needs to own 10, 15, 20 guns. Well, unfortunately, it's very similar to the crack epidemic, where it was only seen as a problem of Philadelphia. Unfortunately, the crime violence has gone up, not just here in Philadelphia, but through several counties throughout the Commonwealth. Counties that you normally didn't hear about shootings. And I believe that out of every negative comes a positive. And unfortunately, because of these incidents, we're starting some talks are being started around what can we do to reduce gun violence, not just in Philadelphia, but across the state of Pennsylvania. It's a simple fact of humanity. Some of our children have been desensitized through crime, and they believe there's nothing's going to happen to them, or they believe nothing. They have nothing to live for, so they see that they act and they engage in negative activities, believing that there's no tomorrow. Again, the belief of the pursuit of freedom and happiness is also in our Constitution. So hopefully that will win in our courts.